Oh, it must be an election year because they're just driving out all the old rhetoric, you know what, playing back all the old hits, right? Peaceful protests, mostly peaceful protests. And they're being encouraged once again by the establishment, right? You got Jen Psaki meandering in her final days as press secretary. Oh, God, I'm going to miss her fat tits up there at that podium considering the fucking lateral move that's coming in. But at least she's the minority and at least she's a part of the LGBTQ community. Anyways, White House encourages, yes, peaceful protests outside justices' homes. Yeah, right. It's still actually technically illegal to be doing that, especially if you're going to be targeting those things. You should probably know that, but again, it just furthers and pushes your agenda because you're hoping to make this the topic and at least the foundational principle behind the upcoming repeat to the sequel, if you will, because everybody loves a good sequel, right? Especially these modern day classics that are coming out. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said Tuesday that the Biden administration encourages peaceful protests outside the homes of Supreme Court justices, despite the fact that such protests aim to intimidate the judiciary and appear to be illegal. Yeah, they probably are. We'll get into that in a moment. I just want to show you guys exactly what's going on outside of the houses of Chief Justice John Roberts. I don't know if I want to play with sound or anything, mostly because all of those harpies that are out there are just also unfuckable, unlikable, and yeah, I don't know what they're hoping to accomplish by blocking a road in a private neighborhood, but hey, you do you. And again, ooh, only that one could probably catch it, but she's probably a raging feminist, so who fucking cares? As Breitbart News reported Saturdays, mobs of pro-abortion protesters gathered outside the homes of Supreme Court justices in a leaked draft opinion by, Samuel Alito, yes, in the wake of that, and they still haven't stopped, and they've all got all of their nice latex umbrellas because that would stop a whole bunch of this stuff anyways, but they're too stupid to believe that because, yeah, it's just going to be, oh my God, the Republicans are going to be controlling all of our bodies from now on. They can't even control their own party. What the fuck are you on about? Anyways, on Friday, Psaki was asked about impeding protests, but declined to condemn or criticize them. On Monday, she issued a tweet denouncing violence, but did not specifically mention the protests outside the homes of Supreme Court justices. POTUS strongly believes that the constitutional right to protest, but that should never include violence, threats, or vandalism. Judges perform an incredibly important function in our society. What about justices, though? And they must be able to do their jobs without concern for their personal safety. I'm sure you take that to heart, okay? Probably for 3 of them, right? Well, more like 2 of them, because one of them's on his way out. You already have the successor there appointed, so don't worry about it. On Tuesday, during her White House press briefing, Psaki was asked whether the president felt that demonstrations outside of, say, Justice Alito's home are those attempts to interfere or intimidate. The reporter noted that the Department of Justice has responded quickly and harshly to protests outside the homes of school board members in recent months. Funny you should mention that. Psaki evaded the question, accusing critics of hypocrisy. Oh my God. I think I said yesterday, but I'm happy to repeat, because I think it's important for everybody to hear that the president's longstanding view has been that violence, threats, and intimidation of any kind have no place in political discourse. And we believe, of course, in peaceful protest. And I'll stop with that. What I do find is interesting, and I think many people have noted that there are voices on the right who have called for this protest to be happening while remaining silent for years on protests that have happened outside the homes of school board members. Sorry? The Michigan Secretary of State. Oh? Really? You're probably missing a couple of things that people on the right have been very vocal about, including threats made to women seeking reproductive health care, or even an insurrection against our capital. Oh, there it is, of course. So I know there's an outrage right now, I guess, about protests that have been peaceful to date. Some that might be fiery sometimes, but they're mostly peaceful. And we certainly continue to encourage that outside of judges' homes. Oh, okay. And that's the president's position. Oh, it's the president's position. Oh, okay, cool. But the silence is pretty deafening about other intimidation that we've seen to a number of people. Again, just skirt over what happened in the summer of 2020, right? We're all for the people just gathering together and voicing their opinion, as long as it's an opinion that's approved by the establishment, right? So what do you have to say about pro-abortion activists outside Nancy Pelosi's crypt? Home, sorry. But again, who gives a shit? She's never going to see it anyways, okay? She's fully entrenched in Washington, and you have to be of a certain level of sobriety in order to hop on a plane. So she's never going to see this anyways. So I wonder what the stance of the president is on this one. On Tuesday evening, pro-abortion protesters descended upon House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's San Francisco home, demanding that she investigate the corrupt justices and save abortion. Again, so fucking stupid. Have you seen the California legislation when it comes to abortion? Okay. And once again, overturning Roe v. Wade would just make it a state's issue when it comes to this stuff. But these people are so stupid anyways. And you can guess that based on the fact that they're all wearing masks outside in San Francisco and have more hair colors than independent thoughts in their dome. Anyways, the protesters organizers, Ruth, sent us. Oh, you don't even understand her position on Roe v. Wade. If we're talking about the same Ruth, I'd imagine we're probably talking about Ginsburg, right? Has been organizing numerous other protests across the country, including inside Catholic churches and outside homes of what they call extremist Catholics. Who are those in this day and age? Conservative Supreme Court justices. Oh yes, for sure. In a thread of tweets posted on Monday afternoon, where all of the very important thoughts and opinions are shared, the organization described their plans to march in front of the door of Nancy Pelosi's Pack Heights mansion to demand save abortion, Nancy, defend Roe. That's nice. I like the creativeness of their flyer, though. Like, you got cartoonist interpretations of the four male Supreme Court justices, the one female Supreme Court justice who just kind of looks gate-mouthed and retarded, but so dim that you think that Nancy Pelosi, whose last period was when the dinosaurs were still roaming the earth, gives a fuck about what you guys actually care about. It's adorable that you think that picketing outside of one of her many, many homes is actually going to resonate with anybody. Again, our body, our choice, until, of course, it comes to regulating the poke. I don't necessarily know where they get these designations for everything. Okay, so traitor for... So Alito, everybody has the liar designation. Okay, fine, wherever you come up with that one. You got to pillory somebody for something, okay, because you can't find anything else for Gorsuch and Barrett. Sure, fine. Okay, but a traitor for Alito, that makes sense. He wrote the opinion that was leaked. Again, if it was a conservative clerk that leaked some sort of leftist insane opinion, the FBI would have already found them and stuck them in Guantanamo Bay. But no, what are we, about 2 weeks now at this point since the leak was made and we're no further along on this one? Okay, cool. Once again, the FBI is just really on the case on this one, but you got Kavanaugh's designations bought. I don't know what that means. And an assaulter. Yes, he definitely sexually assaulted, what's her name there? The one who looks like a Cocker Spaniel. Then, of course, yes, you got the caricature. That was the word I was looking for earlier. Caricature of the great Clarence Thomas, where you've got, yes, one word that has double consonants in it. Not the one that you probably wanted to write, but you thought that harasser would probably look a little bit better than the demonym that begins with an N that you would have liked to put there, you bunch of fucking racists. But again, these are confused individuals because, again, it's Ruth sent us. She hated Roe v. Wade, by the way. And they're trying to uphold an institution that is founded and based on the principles of eugenics. So they're dumb people championing a dumb cause for reasons that they don't quite understand. So it's the purview of the establishment right now that it's all right that all of these picketings and protests outside these elected officials' homes is completely fine and on the up and up. But it might actually be illegal, okay? Just hear me out on this one, okay? And again, I'm totally for the First Amendment. I think it's the best, it's number one for a reason. I wish more countries around the world would fully adopt something like that, but America is the greatest country on earth for just such a reason, because you have the right to free speech and freedom of assembly when certain people allow you to, right? It's more flexible. In recent years, the Constitution has become more of a guideline, really, especially when you start to get past, I don't know, we hold these truths to be self-evident, and then after that, it just gets to be a little bit more negotiable than it once was at one point. But you think, yes, the Department of Justice should be stepping in when it comes to enforcing the law, but they only enforce certain laws, or they just try to make other laws stick a little bit harder than they really need to, like sedition and insurrection, conspiracy to commit an insurrection. More concerned about that than actual picketing and actual illegal gatherings. Let's explain. The pro-baby slaughtering protests, chanting and screaming outside of the homes of the 6 Supreme Court justices violate federal law, and Joe Biden's attorney general refuses to enforce said law. Like, you got Glenn Youngkin. He's the Republican governor out there in Virginia where all of the justices live, and he's enforcing now a wider barrier their homes because the feds aren't doing fuck all about it. So he's taken it upon himself to enforce the federal picketing laws, because that's what is apparently being broken here. This is 18 USC 1507. Okay, picketing or parading. Sorry. See if these protests ring true. Whoever, with the intent of interfering with, obstructing, or impeding the administration of justice, or the intent of influencing, oh, here it is, any judge, juror, witness, or court officer in the discharge of his duty, so in the off hours, okay, pickets or parades in or near a building housing a court of the United States, not quite, or in or near a building or residence occupied or used by such a judge, juror, witness, or court officer. That seems like it's pretty applicable. Or with such intent uses any sound truck or similar device to resort to any other demonstrations in or near any such building or residence shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 1 year or both. Okay, so you could fine them, you could put them in prison, or you could just shuffle them along and let elected officials, let appointed officials, okay, do their fucking job, okay? Again, the only reason this has worked into such a fervor is because the Democrats want to use it as an election tactic, okay? That seems pretty obvious at this point. Otherwise, they'd be doing something about it because it's in fucking black and white right there. They are breaking some laws that could be easily enforced by the feds, the local authorities, or anybody who actually gives a shit about the rule of law. Which was another talking point of Biden. I'm going to be another president. I like laws, except for the ones that keep, kids 100 feet away from him because he can't quite sniff that well. No, this is a product of electioneering and then also of the media just outright lying when it comes to all this stuff. You can still get your scrapes, ladies, okay? You just might have to drive a little bit farther if Roe eventually does get overturned, which I'm starting to think now with all of the protests that are just allowed to go on, right? Cat piss stinking, but mostly peaceful protests outside the justices' homes. Kavanaugh or somebody will end up buckling, siding with the liberal justices, or maybe at best it just ends up getting pushed off into the spring session of the Supreme Court, and then it becomes a central issue, which we've ran the numbers, and it's not going to end up being all that significant for them. You're just delaying the fucking inevitable. Just overturn the judicial overreach so everybody can get on with their fucking lives, so that Ukraine can once again come back and be the center of everyone's attention. Fuck off. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.